Hi, and welcome to another episode of Baranov TV, designed to demystify the world of accounts and tax and to help your business grow. Now, I've got a slightly different viewpoint today because I'm going to try something a little bit different. I realised the other day I was sending out a proposal to a potential new client, and they were asking us to give them a quote for producing management accounts and outsourced FD. So one of the things that we like to do as part of our outsourced FD service is talk people through in a really detailed way the numbers within their business and show them the trends and the analysis of what's going on. And we do that using a software package called Spotlight. And it bolts onto Xero or QuickBooks and enables us to show people really visually what their business is doing, what it's going to do if it follows the budget and the plans that they've got in place. And the way it does that is it enables us to produce a lot of graphical information. So rather than trying to translate a sea of numbers and look at a spreadsheet, it actually takes all the information from your bookkeeping software, and with some intervention from us, and we wave our magic wand and we produce these graphical reports. And I realised we've never really spoken to existing clients about the fact that we can use Spotlight. We've only used it with a handful of clients, although it's really, really powerful. So I thought in this episode I'd just give you a quick tour. So I'm going to press pause now, and I'm going to flick things around, and I'm going to try and show things that are on my screen, and we'll just see how that goes. Okay, so this is my screen, and this is a sample report. So there is data in it, but it's absolutely secure. It's nobody's actual proper information. So this is obviously just the title page. If we scroll through, you're not going to be able to see massive amounts of data, but it's more just to give you something to look at whilst I talk you through. You can see that the first section here is an executive summary of the way the business has progressed. So it's pulling highlights out of the report. And then we can look at some non-financial KPIs, and this is actually a sheet that shows progress towards particular goals within a business, and you can see that they're at different percentages across the gradings. And then we get into the actual information in here, and you can see some year-to-date figures, and you can start to see the first of the graphs. So these are revenue graphs and net operating profit graphs. So you can see that we're looking at trends. And I don't know whether you can see, but on each of those three graphs at the bottom there's a grey line, and that's actually showing the month for which this report was produced. So you've got definite figures that precede that grey line, then you've got the month, and then you've got dotted lines thereafter, which are projected figures against budget. So you can see what the business would be looking like if it kept to the budget. So you do need, obviously it does assume you have a budget for the next 12 months in the system. And then if we just sort of scroll through some of them, you can see that we've got different graphs that show different information, and some of these can be added, some of these can be taken out. So it's very tailorable towards your particular business and the particular numbers that you want to look at. The beauty, as I say, is that you can see trends developing, progress towards achieving the goals, and you can see there are also balance sheet analysis figures and graphs. And here in particular is a cash movement summary, so you can see exactly where your cash has gone in the month, going from opening balance through to closing balance, and you can see which are the biggest drains on the cash that's coming through the business. And then you can see cash figures, so the donuts at the top are showing the green is good, that's income coming in, and the orange is money going out of the business. And you can see the trends, the bottom two graphs are trends of different types within the cash side of the business. There are a whole host of information in here. There's things like billable hours, non-billable hours. These are just examples, as I say, but you can see lots and lots of different things. So one of the examples here is time on site. So if you're working on projects, that could be time spent on particular projects. There are all sorts of ways that you can set up different reports within here to see how that's actually going to work. The top right on here is customer satisfaction rating. So if that is something that you track within your business, then you can actually see that really powerfully. So that's a brief tour of what's in there within Spotlight and the different reports that you can have. I'm just going to spin you back round, and I'll tell you a few more things. Okay, so hopefully that's worked, and by now you'll have seen a brief demo of the different types of graphs and different reports that we can produce. Now, there are a few points to consider on this. The first one is that even though you may have Xero or you may have QuickBooks, we can't give you Spotlight. We can only give you the reports because there is some crunching that needs to be done here before you can actually see the right numbers. So there is a cost associated with us producing those for you. The cost relates to time essentially in producing them and the complexity of the information that you want to actually see within them. If there are non-financial stats that you want us to show in there, obviously that information needs to come from you guys first, because it won't necessarily be within your Xero system for us to pull out and extrapolate from there for you. It also depends on how you would like us to present that information back to you. So if you're quite savvy and quite comfortable and confident, it may be that after a couple of conversations around what those graphs are showing, you're able to interpret them yourself. It may be that you'd prefer us to have a telephone or a Zoom call with you each month or each quarter to talk you through and to pull out those highlights for you. We can do as much or as little as you would like, so it is very, very customizable, but it's very difficult to be specific in something like this because it does depend on what individual clients might like. The real beauty of Spotlight though is the visual nature of it and just the way it enables us to translate the information so powerfully to clients. We know that, and Chris in particular is very good at looking at a spreadsheet and interpreting the numbers and knowing what that's showing, but other people just don't have that skill or that experience, and Spotlight can really supplement that quite nicely. It also enables you to see the progress of your business over time and see what's coming, and it's that seeing what's coming that can be really powerful because it can identify on the cash side as the most obvious if there's a big gap where you may need to obtain funding, and it also just puts you in a much more powerful position. You will have a monthly or a quarterly or even a 6-monthly really close idea of what's going on in the business, and that enables you to make very accurate and very timely decisions. So that's a very quick whistle-stop tour of Spotlight. If you would like to discuss Spotlight in any more detail or the kind of reporting that can sit behind it or alongside it, then please do get in touch. I appreciate that this is a very whistle-stop tour and it's very high level. So if you're interested to know more, then please do get in touch. Otherwise, I'll see you all very soon.